and we are on episode 7, which
Can
is
you believe
quite
it?
an accomplishment. And it's a really special episode because it is going to be Brooke's birthday in a couple hours. 29. Again, I'm so proud of you.
29 and holding forever. But look at the freckles. I can say that, right? I can say
You're
it.
gorgeous. You actually do look 29. It makes me want to kick you. But yes, happy
Should we
birthday,
tell
Brooke.
everybody how old I'm going to be?
If you want to, or you can have everyone guess. Maybe people can guess throughout the show.
Let's see if they can. Yes, let's have them guess.
Whoever guesses the right date, we need to give something to the right.
We'll give them like a 2 gender only shirt or some swag. Or
yeah, we got shirts.
Swag. I got tons of swag.
We'll give them a personal shout out, extra ASMR sound.
Bring back the real Corinne.
Who's the real
okay.
Corinne?
So yeah, we're live. We're on Not Vim Miller on Twitter. We're on a couple different Rumbles right now. We're on Tom Renz's Rumble as well as America Happens. So thank you, Vim Miller, and thank you, Tom Renz, for letting us broadcast on your networks.
Thank you.
And if you want to interact with us, the easiest way is probably going over to Not Vim Miller's Twitter, because we can see the Twitter up here on our screen, but we're also looking at the Rumble feed. But tonight I had fun with the title, and I said diamonds really are a girl's best friend, because a lot of people have been hitting me up with, we talk about the collapse of the dollar. That's a real thing going on in our society right now. We talk about crypto, gold, preparing for the disaster, that we see in the economy. And I always joke with the gold and with the work Frankie and I do, we're always like, gold's great, but let me take my gold bar to buy a cow. At the end of the day, we still need to talk about how to fight the CBDCs that they're trying to roll in, because we know what those are. But we also know that there's going to be something that's going to, if you're not educated, is going to seem like CBDCs, but might not be controlled by, the globalists. So we kind of have to fight them equally. And we've been talking about gold-backed crypto, which I'm kind of fascinated with, and then BRICS. So anyway, I wanted to get into finances because, women are usually smart, right? With money or something like that.
Yeah.
And then I wanted to go even further as far as, people talk about with the inflation and everything going on in the economy, and then dating. We talk about dating a lot, how important financial security is, and what that means in today's world when you're living in a war war-torn world, and the WEF is trying to come after all of us. It's I sympathize definitely with anyone financially struggling right now, but let's get into it. Lady Frankie, I'm pitching this over to you because you kind of started our conversation earlier this week saying, I want to talk about crypto.
It's so funny because sometimes you think that you don't have enough knowledge and understanding to speak about a specific topic. And I think this is one of those topics that needs to be understood by everyone. It's something that I want to go ahead and say that it's probably a healthy obsession going into a really deep dive rabbit hole, probably very dangerous dive that I've been going into. But it's this idea that if we don't understand, first off, how this fiat fraud system that we have functions in our world and is destroying absolutely every industry, every institution, if we don't understand how money works, how money operates, how money transfers from one location to another, from one set of hands to another, we as individuals of this country, we cannot grow. We cannot thrive. We will not be able to survive, regardless of how smart we think we are, how well prepared with bunkers we think we are. If we don't understand how to just prepare for the future and understand how money and currency works and the difference between money and currency, you will not survive in the future. This is not one of those things where it's, oh, well, I'm sure when the time comes, I'll eventually figure it out. You either learn it now and understand it and get ahead of the game, or you don't and you fall behind. Because we are now, as you said, in a place of potential war. We're in spiritual warfare, psychological warfare, now we're in currency warfare. They are already developing these systems. You will be forced into these systems if you don't understand that there are other options that we have to fight for, and that is crypto. And if you don't understand why it's so critical to have the option of crypto, to put your money in crypto, to use crypto as an actual currency, not just a tool for investment, but an actual tool of currency to buy what you need, buy your supplies, buy food, buy medicine, whatever it is, you will be stuck in this other system that the WEF and BRICS is trying to create. They are purposely destroying the dollar for this great reset in order to bring in this new system. This isn't an accident. This level of inflation is not an accident. The astronomical levels of inflation that we have because of the levels of printing money, that's not an accident. All of this is absolutely on purpose to devalue the dollar. And for those that just live that regular 9 to 5 life, skipping and happily going along their business every day, you don't understand what's going on behind the scenes. Your dollars are losing value every second that they're sitting in your bank account. And this is why it's so critical for every single one of us to understand crypto. So there's obviously a lot of different coins, and you guys can jump in at any point, but there's a lot of different coins. Obviously, you do need to have a basic understanding of how cryptocurrency works, how it functions, and not just the names of coins, right? It's not just, let me see the trends, let me see the patterns. You want to actually understand the system and what the system can provide and what that system could potentially be in the future. Because there's a reason that Bitcoin is still at the top, and that there's a lot of other coins as well, right? Like we've heard of meme coins, we've heard of, there's a lot of other names for a lot of these coins, and obviously there's some that are still at the top, but nothing is at the level of Bitcoin. And there's a reason for that. So if you understand how that system works and functions and what it's capable of and the protections that it provides you, I think you would actually understand how important it is for all of us to switch to complete crypto for everything. Because if this other system goes into place that the government is trying to put into place, they will have access to all of your accounts. They will have access to every transaction that you make. They can freeze your accounts. They could pull whatever they want from your account. So, they might be able to say, oh, it's for convenience. You won't have to do your taxes anymore because we could pull your taxes for you automatically and see exactly how much you owe. How do you know that they won't just pull 90% of the money in your account? How do you know if you buy too many bullets or one too many burger patties one month that they're not going to completely drain your account because they can? That is the biggest violation of privacy that I've ever seen. And if
Yeah, I
you
mean,
don't understand that you need to switch, you will be forced into that system.
yeah, absolutely. I mean, the CBDC, the scary thing with the CBDCs is the lack of knowledge, I think, that just regular Americans have on it. And again, that's why I'm really hoping that we keep pushing this parallel economy where we keep pushing this crypto and this knowledge of it. Because I mean, unless people have like a debit card and can actually use it and have that functionality, it's going to be really hard. Again, like buying the gold to protect you and your family is great, but I'm not going to take a chunk of gold and, again, go buy a freaking cow with it. Like we need something that actually works. And I just saw Jordan Peterson talking about this too. The scary thing, and my kids tease all the time because I am a great driver. I'm a really good driver. Okay, guys. And my kids are like, Mom, if they like get you in one of those digital cars where they can like track you, you'll like never be able to leave your house. And so, I mean, it's funny, but it's true.
But
I
it's
mean,
terrifying.
they're talking about if you are speeding, if you're doing any type of violations, it can be tracked through your car. I mean, this is like a slippery slope that's right in front of us. It's actually happening. And when it comes to your CBDCs, you go and buy something like meat, which Frankie and I are pure carnivores. So like people always tell me like, oh, you can grow a garden. I'm like, listen, bro, I eat cow.
That's not
I
going to
can't
do
grow a
anything.
cow. Okay. In my neighborhood, I can't have a cow. And so I always joke, I'm like, I'll be, I guess, out with my gun getting like quails and rabbits because I will be finding a way to eat meat. You know what I mean?
We'll be
But
slaying cows left and right.
and I know I'm trying to think of his name, who was talking about it up in Canada too, not Jordan Peterson, but it'll come to me. But they were talking about like, you get docked when you fly because you're using your carbon footprint. You get docked when you buy the steak instead of the vegetables because you're using your carbon footprint. This is actually really happening. And they're pushing legislation and bills in many states. There's a lot of bank bills. And again, you can actually go to tomrenz.com and buy the CBDC book that he put out, talks about this, because we were following the legislation that was hitting a lot of states where, and luckily Governor Christine Noem, in South Dakota, she called him out. She said, okay, well, on page 300 of this bank bill, and these bank bills were going all over to all the states. She's the only governor that called it out. She said, obviously, no one read this. My people read it. We found on page like 300, they put in there, they tucked it away real nice where it was allowing CBDCs to take over, right? So they do these bills and these legislative pieces where it's like, it looks like a bank bill that has nothing to do with CBDCs, but it has everything to do with CBDCs. So again, this is why we wanted to talk about this tonight. But I mean, again, you guys can talk more on how this extrapolates into our life as far as taking care of our families and being concerned about a crash. I mean, we're already at the pinnacle of it with inflation. I mean, I literally don't ever want to leave my house because of the cost of gas. And I'm super happy when I'm like, look, I can walk to the store, or my gym is right around the corner. I get really excited when I haven't had to get gas in a week. I'm like, ooh, I did good, right? Like I might be able to pay rent because I didn't have to get gas.
So this is going to be shocking. My opinion on this is completely polar opposite of what you and Frankie just talked about. And that's because of my mentor. And the thing that he taught me was about real estate. And yes, Frankie's right. The more you print, it's going to deplete the dollar. They've been working on that for a long time. My mentor and I have had many discussions. But one of the things that always will maintain being stable, and it'll go in an 8-year up cycle and an 8-year down cycle, is real estate. I have made much more money in real estate than putting something into something that is not yet regulated in a certain way. I know they're moving in that direction, but there's nothing like having money in real estate. And that's what I was taught. Now, going forward, of course, we see an ever changing landscape of what's happening with, they're adding crypto, they're adding Bitcoin, they're adding all these different things. And we're watching real estate shift, right? We're getting ready for a crash. We know that it's going to be a different crash than what happened last time because they refined some rules and regulations and how they were packaging the mortgage loans and the inflation rates of what they were doing. But we are headed for a crash. So my thing is I can't wait for that crash to happen because I want to go in and scoop up some more rental properties. And that's where I sit on this. Mandy, what about you? What's your take on Bitcoin, crypto? Oh, and we got to talk about diamonds.
I can't wait to rebuttal when Mandy's done.
This is probably not going to make Frankie happy, but I don't want anything to do with central bank digital currency. And I know some people will argue that the dollars and cents you see on a bank screen aren't much different because it's somewhere in, wherever it is. But unless I can hold it with my hand, I pretty much treat it like it doesn't exist. If I was wealthy, then I would probably invest a little bit in maybe some XRP, but that would just be like me going to gamble or something. I would assume that it would all go away and that it would be gone. But unless I can hold it in my hand, it doesn't exist. And being a disabled veteran on a fixed income, there's not a lot of money to buy precious metals. Obviously, you can get some constitutional silver, even fractional gold. You don't have to have full ounces of gold. You can just get fractional. But I really think there's something to be said about having just everyday items and having skills, knowing what plants you can eat, knowing that you have a way to filter and purify water. Because for all the things that you don't have, you may not have property or gold bars or whatever. If you have skills and water, you can trade that for anything. You can barter anything. And especially in Nevada, you can barter alcohol, weed, you can get whatever you want. So you don't necessarily have to have a ton of money for whatever collapse is coming.
Well, and charity.
That. That's beautiful.
This
is why the four of us are here. It's all different perspectives. Yeah. I love that. Mandy, you just opened up a part of my brain. I was like, wow, okay.
I'll tell you right now, when the shit hits the fan, you can't eat gold. You can't eat silver. You can purify water with it. You can do that. Yeah. But really, I mean, just having clean socks and toothbrushes and alcohol and weed is going to get you pretty far. So charity, and you can't eat it, but you'd be like, I got weed. You want give me the food and you can have the weed. Like,
I love it.
So I'm for sure not disagreeing with any of that because knowing the four of us, we could live so simple off of the fewest items and be so happy and be thriving, right? But the
Well, and we have
difference
to be
is
ready for that. We do have
you
to be
have
ready.
to
We
be
talked
ready.
about that with Terry this
Absolutely.
week. We all need to be ready for that to happen. But real quick, CBDCs are not crypto, are
No,
not bricks. We do not endorse CBDCs. That is different. And that's what my
completely
point
different.
was. We need patriots to have the discernment to know the difference. And you do need to know that having something gold backed is essential.
right.
Because it's nothing if it's not backed, right? Okay,
But
sorry, Frankie.
here's I lump them together in my mind because if the power goes out, you don't have shit. Okay, if they
Oh
flip
yeah,
the power
absolutely.
like
You're
we know
absolutely
they're
right.
going to,
Yep.
oh, it's a solar
Mhm.
flare or whatever they're going to blame it on, right?
Yeah.
So
No,
They're
you're
going
right.
to
so
blow the
here's
power, and then all your crypto, all your coins, like what good is it going to do you when it's
so
stuck in outer space? Like,
Mhm.
here's the difference between the central banking currency and crypto. All of the computers are handling the crypto, the level of energy and electricity that's needed. This isn't just sitting somewhere down the street that you and I could drive up to. A lot of these locations are buried hundreds of feet below mountains to protect it from earthquakes, from any kind of natural disaster. They are prepped so that way they can't be hit with any kind of like EMPs or anything like that. Like there is nothing that's going to destroy the energy supply that these generators and these computers need. If literally the entire world went down and had zero power, your crypto would still be running. Even if it was down for, let's say, a year or whatever it is,
but can you get to it?
your crypto money would still be functioning. But that's the
Could you
system
get
that
to
we
it?
need
Could
to
you
get into
use it to go
place.
buy stuff with?
But that's the system we need to get into place. So my next point is, because you said, and I think this is a very, very important point that you made. If you can't hold it, it's not real, right? If
Yeah.
you
See, I
can't
don't want
hold
a
it,
system that if they turn the power off, I'm screwed.
so right now 97% of the money circulating is digital. It's just
Yeah.
pluses and minuses on a ledger. The majority of us use bank accounts, we use our debit cards, we use Apple Pay. If the power went out right now this moment, every single one of us would be screwed. And that's using the US dollar that is already in place, that has been in place for decades. So what is the difference if we're actually using something that, yes, does require energy and electricity for us to access it, but the difference is the central banking system. The reason that they want to continue this power, and the reason that they want to shift to this new monetary system, is because it gives them more power to control your money, your transactions, and your life. The difference between crypto, and this is why it's so essential, especially with Bitcoin, the creator of Bitcoin essentially disappeared. They created this system that is essentially untouchable because there is no probability of inflation, because there's only a max amount of coins that can be created with Bitcoin. And this is why it's so attractive to so many people. The US dollar, inflation could continue to go up and up and up, and we continue to lose value every single second that it's stored in a bank account. If you have Bitcoins, you are never going to lose value unless the actual value of the coin is lowering, which it seems to be going up, and it's only been going up for the last 13 years. So the difference between there being literally no system, I'm sorry, there's no individuals to coordinate and set up how they want rules and regulations to work in the cryptocurrency is what gives so much trust in the system, because there isn't a person saying, you know what, we're going to skyrocket interest rates today. You know what, we're going to go ahead and print some more money today. Because in the world of crypto, especially in Bitcoin, you cannot create an extra Bitcoin. There will only be a certain amount, and that is it. So
Now,
you
so
can't just print more money
are
like
you an
like
expert
America
on
does.
Bitcoin? Because I have a question.
Go ahead.
Are you fairly informed? Okay, because I'm not as informed on this, so I'm asking you. Wasn't Bitcoin created as dark web money to purchase
So
things? Wasn't
so
it founded in crime and darkness and all that, wasn't it?
It wasn't founded on that principle. There was one case out of hundreds of thousands of transactions. So of course, you know how the media is. They will use propaganda to turn anything to demonize anything that threats the system.
It
So
was my
there was
understanding that Bitcoin was the only way that things on the dark web could be purchased. That was
so
my understanding. Is that
yes.
incorrect?
So when it was first introduced as another type of currency, there were people that were using it for illegal things, right? But the thing is, that's not what it was created for. But it's the exact same case that you can say, well, you can't use the dollar, the US dollar, because someone might buy heroin with it, someone might buy cocaine with it, someone might go pay a hooker with it. It's the exact same concept. You cannot control how someone uses that currency, because if there's a platform that accepts it and someone on that platform happens to make a trade of, hey, if you give me this much in this coin, I'll give you this, that's on the individual, because the exact same thing can happen with the US dollar. It could happen in any country that you go to. You cannot control how people are trading their money. But that goes back to, that's why it's so critical, because if we allow CBDCs to go into place, then the government now has authority and
Complete control.
access to
Yeah.
see every single transaction that you and I make, whether it's legal or not. They have
We're
access
already
to
doing
it.
that, though.
Yeah,
But
and
that's
then,
the, that's
you know what though? Oh, sorry.
Oh, go ahead.
oh no, I was really quick, and I'll let you jump in, Brooke. They're already doing that. And how many people personally do we know have had every single bank account seized, every single credit card closed? They can't use Uber. They can't use Airbnb. They can't fly on certain airlines. So if that's already happening, why would you not push for a system that's going to prevent you from being banned from everything?
Yeah. I mean,
Because
there's
that's them taking your rights
patriots
away.
that can't even get, donation platforms. We've had to create new
Exactly.
donation platforms. And then like Eric Naputi, a good friend of ours, Dr. Eric Naputi, when he got, he was getting sued basically by Big Pharma for telling people vitamin D helps, right? During the beginning of COVID and, take your vitamins and this, that, and the other thing. They shut down his wife's credit cards. I mean, there's a lot of patriots I know that got everything shut down, at times just for speaking out. So amen to that. What were you going to say, Brooke?
I was just going to say that I first really believe in what my mentor has taught me, because he's extremely knowledgeable and he's existed for 84 years. And so I value what he's taught me about real estate and business. But I'm going to say I completely disagree with all the crypto stuff. It all can disappear in the drop of a hat. I agree with what Mandy's saying, that it will come down to a barter system. Hey, property for buying a cow or whatever it is, or my diamond ring. We're going to talk about diamonds. So I have to politely disagree, because I also have had people that have experimented with crypto and Bitcoin and they've lost quite a bit of money. I've told them I thought it was like the dumbest thing they could have ever done, putting their money into something like that. But again, I'm not an expert on this. I'm not
Well, I mean, what I'm talking about here isn't an investment opportunity. What I'm talking about here is an alternative. Okay, so the dollar, they've destroyed the dollar. They'll continue to try to destroy the dollar. So when you try to build a parallel economy, so if we know things are going to crash, we can't just go, well, we're just waiting for it to crash and then we're going to sit here and barter forever.
And then we'll figure it out after it crashes.
I'm already envisioning the crash. I want it to happen. Honestly, not necessarily a financial crash. I want the rebuilding to start happening within the Patriot movement, within freedom. So what we're trying to talk about is if we were to build something that was truly free, was truly gold backed, truly free, and truly, we the people were protected from government, overreach on it and being controlled like that, what would it look like? And I guess that's what Frankie's talking about, is what would be the alternative, right? And I mean, it's sad how much of a joke we are to the world, with world, trade at all. I mean, the dollar's a joke. And I mean, really, one of the reasons why we see, these soft targets getting attacked and agriculture being on the top of our concerns is really ag is the only thing we have left. We used to be at the top of everything. Agriculture is it. That's it. And China's buying all of our freaking farmlands. So there is a direct attack on our food supply. On those soft targets are getting just blown up accidentally. We've got trains and boats and bridges and the reason why that's all important is it's an attack on the last thing that we even slightly trade in world commerce. So I want to move to the next kind of bridge.
If I could add in just one more thing, and then we can jump to the next thing. So again, because I think it's really important, and I think the fact that we do have opposing opinions on this is the absolute best conversation, because this is what everyone needs to be hearing right now. So you brought up that you believe in real estate, right? I am absolutely not. Yeah, I'm absolutely
the barter system, like Mandy said.
Yeah. I'm absolutely not against that, because I think owning real estate is a very, very important part of building your wealth. It's absolutely critical. Now, what I'm saying is, like Andrea said, we're not talking about Bitcoin as a tool of investment. We're talking about cryptocurrency as a replacement to the current currency that we have. So if we already have,
we have to fight CBDCs. We have to have something to fight CBDCs.
Exactly. So if we are already working with a digital currency that's 97% digital, why not go for a currency that actually protects us and gives us the security that we need, so we actually own the money that we're trading with? Because right now, the US dollar, we don't own that. So going back to real estate, which is amazing, you could absolutely build your wealth with multiple homes. You could have multi-home, complexes, right? But here's the thing. You can have all of those properties, and if you say the wrong thing about the government, they could come in and seize your property, because you still don't own your home. Even with your name on that deed, they could come in and seize that property from you, and now you have nothing. So again, you could have that safety net, but the government can take it away. So now the thing again with cryptocurrency, your wallet is anonymous. You could have $5 in your wallet, or you could have $5 billion, and no one can come after you because no one knows who you are. It is completely and entirely anonymous. So if you have your money, whatever you have in your bank account, and it's transferred into a crypto coin, not an investment coin, just a crypto coin that you can actually use as a currency to buy milk, to buy meat, to buy whatever it is that you need, instead of the US dollar, instead of Wells Fargo, instead of JP Morgan, or you know what I mean? If instead of using a traditional banking system that's profiting off of you and stealing from you, you're switching to a currency that is owned by no one but the actual people, that is completely anonymous, you have complete privacy, you can spend your money on exactly what you want to spend it on, and there is no inflation. There is no inflation.
So
that's the difference.
I'm like control of that.
No.
Yes.
There's no control.
Mandy girl, let's go.
Somebody somewhere created the program that has control or access to that. And at any time, see, here's my concern. If we get rid of, like, fiat currency is trash, it's garbage,
it's fraud.
But we need a gold-backed dollar is what we need, okay? Or a barter system or whatever. But we already know that they're going to do another pandemic. They've already planned for disease X, right? And it would behoove of them, if they're trying to force everybody into a digital currency, all the currency online, no more cash, no more whatever. It's the perfect way to do it, to say, oh, the disease, the virus spreads through the money, so we have to get rid of the money. If everybody's money and the way they purchase things is all connected to the internet, or somebody's running a program, at any point they can switch up the game and they're in control of it all, and you're screwed. And
so this is why again, I want to make sure that we're having these conversations, because if the majority of us don't understand how the system of cryptocurrency works, then it's easy to overlook it and not actually understand the benefits of it and the protection of it, because you're just going to assume that it's another digital currency, and it's not. The way that it functions, there is no one running it. There are some coins where there are people, but those are like meme coins. I'm talking about like real cryptocurrency that has white papers written, that have rules and laws of how this system works, the way that each wallet essentially works. Imagine if you have your own security deposit box and you are the only person that has a key to that box. No
Yeah.
one else has a key
Yes,
to
but
that
that's a
box,
real
right?
feasible
And
thing,
it's
right?
and it's anonymous, right? So you have a wallet that's in this space. You are the only person with a key, and it's completely anonymous for you to make. Oh no, Mandy's mad
Oh,
at
no,
me.
where'd she go? No,
She's like,
not.
I'm done with the crypto.
No, she's not.
Sorry, my
We were like, what? Where'd Mandy go?
I meant to
She's like,
mute
I'm
it.
done.
My
Stop
son's
talking to me
walking
about
by.
crypto.
He's gonna take the dog to the bathroom. I'm sorry.
So there are rules to how this system has to work, but there isn't an individual at the top running it like there is with CEOs at all of these multi-billion-dollar banks. So the difference is every time, like, the more people are invested into crypto, the more people, because each security box, right? You have to look at each wallet has a certain clip of information, and you don't have the whole, let's say, formula to make this easier, or number, right? You don't have all of the information to complete any transaction or any process or any information. All of this information is spread out among every single wallet. So there's no way to hack this system. Like, if you can hack into someone's bank account, you can hack into a business, because it's just one location. All of that data is stored in one location. That's not how it
Okay,
works
but
with
data,
crypto.
you just said the key word. This is the thing that I'm going to go back to. My first gut instinct is real estate. My second gut instinct is bartering. You just said the keyword data, computers. If all of those are gone, we are so screwed. It's going to go.
Who controls the computers? Controls it all.
I agree.
Okay, but that's what I'm saying. Everything is
showing my
anonymous.
age.
Everything is anonymous.
Yeah, because then they can take your money. They're
No,
like,
no,
"Yeah,
because
you
you
have
cannot.
protection
For it when your
That's-
wallet's not working right.
That's the thing. That's the thing about the wallets. No one can hack into it. It's impossible
Who do
to
you call
hack
for
into
help
your
with
wallet.
it then?
It's
Yeah, that's-
impossible to hack into your wallet, because in order for you to transfer money from one wallet to another, you need multiple connections to let's say create like a digital DNA strand, right? If you don't have this full code, you cannot fulfill a transaction. You can't.
Okay, so here's the thing. There are things out there that we have to get educated on, because this was the beginning of it. Like I said, there is going to be a system. Okay, CBDCs are bad. There's going to be other systems that we have to get educated on and understand, and make sure we're, getting into these freedom systems like Frankie's talking about, because that's what we're talking about. You guys are talking about bartering. That's exactly what I'm saying. It's a system to where we can barter like we're supposed to, where something's backed, actually gold backed, and it's actually protected, and the government cannot get involved. But I might want to build a bridge into something else real quick, if you guys are okay with that.
I just want to say real quick before you build that bridge that I think
This is my favorite episode.
even though we all
Who
have
said they
different
wanted
takes,
us
it
to
means
break
that we're a really well-rounded team. Brooke's
Yes.
got the property, Frankie's got crypto, you got crypto, you guys know what's going on in that. And I'll just be coming in with snacks and weed for everybody while you all are just hacking and
I got the
sending
diamond.
money.
Listen, here's the thing. I
estate
understood.
and
I
diamonds.
understood. I understood very quickly that money is fake. The concept
Yeah.
of
Oh,
money
yeah.
is absolutely fake.
It's-
And that's why you have to look at other systems, because everything is the fiat system right now is a Ponzi scheme. It's an absolute Ponzi scheme. From the day it was created, they understood it was a Ponzi scheme, and it was a fraud, and it
It
would
was never
scam
meant
the
to
American
last.
people.
Well,
It was
again,
never meant to last.
They don't
So
want us
why would you want to stay on that system?
I'm sorry, I
don't
messed
wanna-
up your bridge building. Build the
I
bridge.
know, I still want to build this bridge off of this, but again, Federal Reserve, the Titanic, JFK assassination, the CIA, they want to control us. And this goes back to before America was America. We came over here to get away from this crap. And look into the sinking of the Titanic and who was on it. You can call me a conspiracy theorist all day, but the Federal
because ironically, right after the Titanic sank, going with that conspiracy theory, is when the Federal Reserve was created. And a lot of people were going against the creation of the Federal Reserve for this exact reason.
How do they control us and why, and how do we break free? That's what we're talking about here. And we all want the same thing on that for sure. But I wanted to build a bridge that I think is very important. We have a really funny chat going on the side. So if you guys see me
I
laughing,
love this chat.
The chat's amazing, by the way. Thank
First
you.
off,
Hi, Billy.
let's go ahead and give a
Hi.
shout out to everyone in the chat because you guys are cracking. I'm trying not to
Hilarious.
laugh while we're
I
having
don't
these
know who
serious
these people are. I'm
conversations.
on the Twitter chat. I mean,
There's-
again, America
the
The
happens.
Twitter
What's
chat's
going
on
on?
fire.
Somebody
America-
said I have an 84-year-old sugar daddy. That's
You do.
not.
You do.
I
America,
really
thought
do.
I looked faded. I'm just sitting here. I'm tired. Like,
but
seriously,
America
David.
Happens is streaming us as well as the Tom Renz channel, and then tons of streams that Vim puts us on. So sorry if we can't respond to you. I'm responding on Twitter and Rumble, but there's definitely some threads you guys are coming on. And Onyx, we love you. Like everyone on the thread, even those that are trying to, make us feel bad
Billy's
about.
here. Billy's here.
Billy's
too.
here. We love Billy.
Billy's such a great supporter. He's got to come to the birthday
Look
party.
how cute Billy is.
I gotta
love
send Billy like, hey Billy, come to hang out with us at the party tomorrow if you want to come.
Oh yeah, Billy should come to your birthday party tomorrow. Absolutely. Hey, birthday party at Brooke's house. Let's blast your address right now. Just kidding. Okay.
No, we're good. I have real diamonds. No, I'm keeping my diamonds,
Okay.
and I don't need a
But
bunch of.
are you guys ready for my bridge into the
Okay,
next
build your bridge.
really
Yes,
important?
yes. Also, hello to
really-
everybody on Rumble. We don't want
Wait,
you to
is
feel
this
left out either.
insensitive because we just lost the bridge?
No, but we can get on the topic of the bridge because
It
there's
wasn't
a lot
even one
going
bridge.
on
It
with
was
that
like
as well.
3 bridges in one day.
So
It's like,
many
come
bridges.
on already.
So
Okay,
many
anyways,
bridges.
build it.
Okay, so
Take us there.
when we sit here, the 4 of us talking about money, crypto, protecting our families, what are we going to do when the collapse hits? We're talking about how bartering really, I mean, we went through COVID. Everyone's kind of ready. We're like, this is what I can do. We're literally sitting here talking about bartering. So when you go out, like, we can be hypothetical here for some of us, but most of us here are single, and you are on a date and you want to talk about some of this stuff. How important is it for your date to know this stuff? I mean, this is kind of important that people understand some of what's going on with the dollar. And I feel a disconnect. I know Frankie and I have talked, even going out with some of like our girlfriends, friends from church. They don't have to necessarily be as involved with like the patriot movement as I am, but it's hard when I want to talk about some of this stuff and they just have their head completely buried in the sand. If you're just doing the same old thing that if you think that basically, turning your back on some of the stuff that's going on and not accepting that we're on the brink of another world war, for me, it's so hard. Maybe I'm the worst because small talk doesn't work so good, but how important is like someone to know this, that you're friends with or going on a date with, and like, how important is money? Financial security with the person that you're on a date with, because it's interesting to me. We're in a point where people are struggling financially, inflation's crazy, but as a woman, right, we do want to feel a little secure and protected. And I just don't feel secure when someone's completely ignorant to some of this stuff going on in the world.
I have so many comments on this. I have so many. Frankie, you want to start?
Yeah, I'll jump in. Okay, so I want to start by saying, first off, it's absolutely critical. I know that we will all most likely agree on this, that if you don't understand what's happening, you won't be compatible. Now, the reason that I say this is like the exact same, this is the exact same conversation when people come up to me and tell me, well, if you don't want to date someone that's overweight or obese, you're just fat phobic. And I try to explain to them, look, it's a very different lifestyle from how that person lives with how I live. The level of value that I have on my health and my life and my body and how I treat my body, what I feed it, how often I train it. I'm constantly, I love biohacking. I want to fine tune my body. Like, this was given to me as a gift from God, and I need to keep it as fine tuned as possible. So I'm constantly thinking, what's the best things to eat? What's the best way to do this? Like, what's the best way to train? I'm constantly looking to fine tune like 1% every day. So if I see someone that thinks, well, I can just have McDonald's every day, I can go and do this, I don't need to work out, that's for people that are, too obsessed about health or fitness or whatever, we're not going to be compatible because they don't value health the way that I do. So it has nothing to do with the superficial aspect of it. It has to do with the values and the mindset and the lifestyle behind it. So it goes back to this, right? If you are having a conversation with someone, especially someone new, you obviously don't have to be this deeply involved. You don't have to be going out on the front lines, with an axe, right? But if you don't understand at least what's happened in the last 3 years, if you don't understand the scam behind the vaccine, if you don't understand the scam behind the pandemic, if you don't understand the scam behind pharmaceuticals, what's going on in public schools, how war is for profit, how they're just destroying families, how they're going after the children by sexualizing them, how this transgender LGBT is clearly for profit, how abortion began as eugenics. If you don't understand these basic principles of corruption that's happening in America, how could any other values align? Because if that doesn't align, you can't work together to protect each other and your family in the future. If you don't have a partner that understands, I need to make sure that I'm protecting our wealth, I need to make sure that I'm protecting our home, whether that's spiritually, physically, financially, with ammo, you have to you as a man, you need to understand how to keep your family safe. And if you don't understand that, it's not going to work. Because especially with us ladies, and I've had this conversation with my dad, with us being in this fight, we are even bigger targets to the system because we are speaking out, because of the people that we work with, because of the litigation that we're working on, right? We're actually trying to change things and fix things for America. We are the threat to this system. And if we don't have someone strong that understands why it's important for us to fight, we won't be safe. We will
Yeah.
not be safe. You will become more of a liability to us, not understanding how important this is
Yeah,
by
that's
being
true.
on our side. We need
Well, and
someone that
Frankie and I have
understands that can fight
said,
with us.
yeah, Frankie and I have talked about that, where it's like, when someone says, "Oh, I work all the time. Everyone knows that 24/7. Oh, you need to take a break. You need to listen. I'm fighting for my kids. This is my
Yeah.
passion, and I need someone that supports it and understands it." And it's always hard when someone goes, "Why do you take this so seriously?" Because you're just like, how do you not? And then on top of that, it's you telling that to someone about their career too. I take my career seriously, but on top of that, my career, I've chosen to also be in the fight for freedom for my kids. So it's multiple layered. It's a mission. When you have a mission job, a mission career, that's your heart and soul, and that God put you in it. That's why I get so worked up. That's why I'm wanting to talk about it. I mean, it's not that I can't talk about other things like what you were saying, the gym and fitness and other things I'm into.
And that's
But
the thing too.
but if someone doesn't know about crypto, and then if someone doesn't have a plan, I guess for end days, I guess that's kind of what I was getting at.
Yes.
I would have to be with someone like, okay, so if we're hanging out and I choose you for end days, I need to know you're ready. Like, I need a
Yes.
big 6'5" guy. He's got to have like 5 guns hanging on his back, just tons of ammo.
Yeah.
He needs
I
to
need
know
you to be able
everything
to
about
hunt.
financial security. Oh, he's going to have to know how to hunt and skin. And I mean,
Yes.
it's funny. We're like, again, I feel like I'm in like war-torn times. It's like I'm in a movie. My kids call me Sarah Connor because, again, I'm like in my black tank top with guns and my Jeep, and we're driving around, and like we love that stuff. So like if I'm Sarah Connor, I'm gonna need someone who can match that. Okay, can match
Exactly.
that
Yes.
energy.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yes.
Mandy has a great match, but you guys, we've shared a little bit of each of our stories. I was married to a D. I'm an R. Opposites do attract, but I also think that at the time when we met, I saw the things that we were talking about in life, right? So Frankie, everything you said I agree with to a point. Here's the reality of it. I agree with everything. And when I go on dates, I lay everything out. Like, this is who I am. I'm not having any more kids. I have 2 kids. I've been married. I've been divorced. I don't know if I'll get married again. But the reality is this: we can't predict the partner that we pick out or we date or we marry, if they will in fact stay on the same mission that they proposed on the first date that they're on, or if they will change because life happens. And I've seen people where life happens and they're not the same person, right? They lose God, or they just lose who they are. And so therefore they're not the same person that maybe you met on date one. And then there are the people that you meet on date one and they sell you a bad bill of goods and you figure it out later. So I can see both sides of the spectrum because I've been on both sides. And it's just it's interesting. I think one of the things I'm envious of in this group is Mandy has what seems to be like the most adorable husband who does amazing things for her. And going through a bad divorce, I look and set boundaries and standards, and some of the stuff that like Mandy shares with us, I'm like, oh yeah, well, like the next person I date, like I have a higher expectation because I'm around strong, godly women who are reminding me of my value and my worth. And so that's where I leave it for right now.
So here's my thought on that, because I do agree, you don't know if someone
It's gonna
will
just change.
change,
Yeah.
because I obviously did. I grew up believing that I was a Democrat and then realized I wasn't. So I've
We love
I've
you with an
changed
R.
dramatically. Yeah, I've changed dramatically. But the thing is, the one person may change in the future and another one
Yeah.
might be lying to you from the beginning.
Right.
But are you going to just deny yourself the opportunity of
No.
love because you don't know? Because it
No.
takes time.
No.
And you have to, and that's the difference between getting to know someone, because I think, I'm not saying that you will know every time, right? Because some people
You
do
won't.
lie, but you can at least see in the values that a person has with the discussions that you have.
Yes.
If
Yes.
they don't know about everything that you do, right? Like, we know a lot more because we're much more invested in this. We see things that other people don't see. So if you're having a conversation with someone, they might not know, but are they curious about it? Do they see the potential risk and the dangers of not understanding what's happening? If you bring up a topic and they say, actually, I didn't know about that, but okay, so how did this happen?
Mhm.
Okay, well, tell me about this. You can see that they're interested and you see the wheel spinning in their mind, and you can
Sure.
say, okay, this person might not know everything to the level that I'm at, for example,
Sure.
but they seem very interested and really concerned and really want to learn what's going on. And I think that's someone that can grow with you if
Yes.
the other values also align.
Align. Yeah,
Because
I agree
I
with that.
think it's also important, if you are a godly woman and you find someone that is not godly, it's not going to work out no matter how hard
Yeah.
you try, because I tried that and it did not work. You cannot turn someone godly by trying to make them godly. They need to choose that on their own. But if a man is Christian and godly all on his own, he's going to have those values already. A true godly man. I'm not talking about some fake guy that just says, oh, I go to church on Sundays, but the other 6 days I treat people like trash. I'm talking
Right.
about a real godly man. Whether he even understands what's going on, a real godly man has already had his eyes awakened at this point, and he's going to
I
know.
agree with that too. No, I agree with that too. I just think that some people, somebody said this to me very funnily. They said, we're like children in adult human suits, right? So when we used to look at adults when we were older, we're like, they have it all figured out. They know exactly what's going on with their life. And you get older and you still have this vision of like you're still sometimes in a 10 or 20-year-old brain, and you're like, oh no, by the way, nobody's guessed my age, so I'm 43 tomorrow. Okay, so I'm like in this 43-year-old brain. I get everything you're saying. I agree with everything you're saying. My mission on date one is, these are my values, this is where I stand. Are you on the same track with me? Are you looking to grow or in the things I'm looking to grow in or not? I'm very clear, and some people say that's too harsh. And I said, it's not too harsh. I don't want to waste my time a year in, 10 years in, 5 years in, and all of a sudden they go, oh, well, my values don't align with you. I don't agree with this. I think you have to have the very big discussions up front.
Oh,
Some very big
absolutely.
things like the children, the marriage, certain things like that. I tell people up front, I'm not having any more kids. If you are seeking to have more children, I am not your person.
But what I wanted to
And
get
that's
at,
not harsh at all.
what I
No.
wanted to get at with the title too, diamonds. There's a lot of people, especially in our age group, so 40s, right?
Yep.
Single in your 40s, women get a knock always for seeking that financial security with a partner, right?
Sure.
However, when you have your own financial security, you also, both sides have to be protected and equally matched. So we've got like, the whole prenup concept is kind of what I'm throwing at you guys. And with all things going on with finances and financial security, I mean, how much does that play into when you go on a date? It's like, I don't want to be perceived as a woman who's a gold digger, because I'm not. But there is a certain degree of function you've got to have in society. Like, I do want you to pay for maybe the first couple dinners. I'll pay for some too. I mean, I can take care of myself, and I definitely am fine with prenups and all that. I've had my kids. I don't need your money. But I do want to be with someone who inspires me to be better, who has their stuff basically figured out, and who is going to join me on the same journey. So they have to know what's going on in the world too. But like, how important is that? Because people bring that up a lot. I mean, it's so funny. There was like an article going around about this gal, I think it was like in New York City, and she was using these dating apps. And for a year, she went on so many dates because she was trying to challenge if she could eat for free for a year.
What? That's what?
I think that's brilliant. She did.
That is brilliant.
Listen.
Like, I just
COVID was a hard time for a lot of people.
$4,000 or $5,000.
She did like 5-6 dates a week and just got free meals. I mean, it's like you have this, like, the society is so, we've talked about the hookup culture, and we've talked about, the abortion issue on some of our other shows too, where we said it's really important. Brooke, you said the same thing. It's really important in the beginning of a relationship to lay it all out.
Yeah.
If you want kids, if you want marriage, if you're a God person, if you're a patriot, everything about where you want to go in your life, you should lay it out.
I think
and if those things don't align, then you should know right away. And again, pregnancy is a big one. You know how to get pregnant. You know how to talk about it beforehand. It's not an accident. But I mean, this goes into everything. So again, like financially, like, again, how important is that?
I think for me, after the divorce that I went through, and just growing up the way that I did, and getting a master's degree, I had a backup to a backup to a backup, because we didn't grow up with wealth. My mom was struggling with 3 children, and she did a phenomenal job. She met my stepdad, but I'm assuming, I'm pretty sure that they live paycheck to paycheck. I mean, food was tight in the house and things like that. And so my goal, and maybe it's a reactionary thing from growing up that way, but my house is filled with food all the time. I'm kind of like super crazy about things like that. And after going through a very traumatic divorce from a Democrat, and we did see very differently on money and a lot of big issues, it's a very big conversation to have up front. And I want somebody who actually either matches my economic status, or they need to be above me. And I have no problem with saying a man needs to be above me, because then you're going to take care of me. And I don't mean take care of me entirely. I'm a very independent woman. I have businesses on my own. But I think there's something to be said to have a man who's opening the doors and paying for your meals. Now that I'm 43, I like those things. And I dated a guy for a year, and I told him my requirement was every other week when I don't have my kids, you take me out on a date. You have 2 full dates that you have to pay for a month. I think that's pretty easy going at this point. But for me, the man
can always be reciprocal. Yeah,
of course.
But I mean, I also wanted,
financial is very important to me, either equal or above.
Yeah, and Frankie and Mandy are my spiritual sisters in Christ, and so I don't know how to, quote the verse entirely, but my minister had brought it up because he does a lot of marriage counseling. And he said, men in the marriage counseling room will always, be quick to bring up that verse of, a woman's job is to, basically take care of, her husband, right? But there's also the verse on how, a man is really to be that provider and that protector. And sometimes the protection and the provider isn't a literal thing for me, but I do need that strength to be, like you said, reciprocated and equal. And some of this is the knowledge of what's going on in the world. I really do value knowledge, intelligence. And again, sitting down across from someone, I always say Frankie's she's my soulmate. She's just a woman, but like sitting across from someone at dinner, I want
Andy's mine then.
I know Andrea, if I was a guy, Andrea and I would be,
we'd be great
like
together.
couple goals.
But I want to sit across the table and say, hey, what's up with crypto, and have a conversation like I just had with Frankie tonight. So being educated and aware, and not living through this incredible time. We're blessed to be living through this incredible time. We're blessed to be soldiers. I want to be aligned with people who see it the same way and enjoy sharing this knowledge and the discussion and the discourse. Even if we don't totally align on stuff, I want to be able to like speak intelligently about what's going on in the world. Those who are trying to, hide from all of this, like the ships crashing into bridges and what's going on with Hollywood and P. Diddy, like that's not the only thing we have to talk about, but damn, if you don't pay attention, I mean, and that's kind of my hardest thing, is those who hide from this, I have a hard time aligning with at all.
Yeah, it's like if you need Mickey Mouse ears for what's going on in the world, like that's just the things that they let you see. Imagine what you don't see every
I
day.
need you to have more ammo than me.
Yes.
I want Mandy to weigh in on this because I really value the relationship that she has with her husband. I think it's really special, and I do think there's a really good person out there for everybody. And I think if you find that person, you marry them or you keep them, whatever it is. If marriage is for you, marriage is for you. If it's not, it's not. Like, I don't judge. I just don't. Not since I went through a very awful divorce. But man, I admire your relationship. The things that you drop in the chat, like I'm like, oh my God, what a great husband. What is your take on all this? Before you met your husband, and you have this amazing relationship, and you're like, nope, that's our day. And I love that. When you write us back in a group text and you're like, no, that's our day, we can't do it that day, that's me and my husband, I'm like, oh my God, I love it. I want to hear what you have to say.
She also tells me not to only look for 6'5" and taller guys.
She does.
Fun size like
That's in
that.
our chat all the time.
I want an Arnold Schwarzenegger. And she goes,
Well, his father was a Nazi, so
There's
a
that.
literal card-carrying
Yeah, you
Nazi.
don't want
So
that.
you are going to have to
You
make
don't want
I
that.
these
meant the body
sacrifices.
type, not the Nazism.
Listen, I just want like a John Wick.
Oh,
Like,
yeah,
just
you're going for a John
I
Wick.
don't know.
just
what
send
I
me
Keep doing
John
it with a
Wick.
pencil.
Yeah.
All
Like,
right,
don't
we
leave
got
any pencils
we got
around.
like a
I would
couple
feel
more
very
minutes,
safe.
so it's final comments, y'all. You want to just give it to Mandy? Mandy
No,
can close us up tonight?
Mandy's got the torch, baby.
Yeah, she's got the torch.
I do
Tell
have
us-
final thoughts, though. Yeah, I do have final thoughts. But go ahead, Mandy.
Oh, okay.
Okay. What was the question, Brooke, that you wanted me to answer?
Your
I just
your
wanted
thoughts
your
on
take on like all of this, because me and Andrea and Frankie are single. You are in a marriage, and your husband, the things that you've
It's
shared with us,
adorable.
I feel like they are adorable. So like, what is your take on like where we're all coming from? Like, what do you think? You had dating years. What was that like? What did you set the standard for? All of it.
Well, I think that financial compatibility is very important. I agree with you, ladies, that all the important conversations should be had right up
Yeah.
front. And Onyx was saying that the problem with being upfront is how to be vulnerable but honest. I think the biggest thing to take, Onyx, if you want some unsolicited advice, is that rejection is protection. Okay, if you go into anything that you're doing with a good heart and with no malice towards that person, and you communicate the things that you want and what you see for your life, and they reject you in any way because you found out right up front. As far as finances, financial compatibility is important. I certainly would not be with somebody that was financially irresponsible. There's a difference between not being financially well off, somebody who's working and putting in effort and getting paid a shit job, or somebody who's had setbacks, such as, they've been forced into expensive procedures and things that it's basically ruined their finances. There's a big difference between somebody like that and somebody that's financially irresponsible, like not paying your bills, paying your rent, making sure your power stayed on. That's a completely different situation. But in terms of like money, how much a guy makes really doesn't matter to me as much as how he treats me. And really, I care more about an apocalypse partner, because when the shit hits the fan, you need somebody that you can trust to defend you and make sure that you make it. So that person has to be your equal at least. I yeah,
That's
you.
so beautiful.
Oh, sorry.
No,
Apocalypse partner. That's what I've been saying. I want an apocalypse
yeah.
partner.
I've never
Like
heard
you need
that.
to be
Oh
strong
my
where you are
gosh.
not. Like you find the person that you just flow with, that they just know that when you go that, like Ryan and I, for some reason, we just work well in a way that when I'm worked up and upset about something, he's calm. It's very rare that you will see us upset at the same time. And it just happens. It kind of just happens that way. Just
Mhm.
I'm
I
pretty
love it.
blessed. But it hasn't been easy. 19 years doesn't come easy. It
No,
comes
yeah,
with
you worked for it. You guys definitely worked for it.
yeah.
Okay, we're at the hour mark, so it's final thoughts, y'all.
I will say, I think this concept of providing has been misinterpreted and misconstrued many, many times. I don't think it's just providing financially as the left tries to push and the feminists try to push, because a man that provides, one, obviously, I think a man should be able to provide for his family, and I'll explain that in a second, but it's not just financial. It's, can he provide spiritually? Can he provide protection? Can he provide safety? Do you feel safe being with this person? Do you feel like, if you are in a situation where shit does hit the fan, is this a type of person that can say, let's sit down, we will find a solution, we're going to be all right, don't worry about it because I will do what needs to be done? Because that's a very different mindset from someone who says, well, I just lost my job and now I don't know what to do, and we're going to lose a house and we're going to lose this. That's not a strong man. And I'm not saying that there aren't things that happen that do throw you off, because there are things that can happen and you will be thrown off, you will be tested. But if you have a man that is committed to you, is he willing to do what needs to be done, whether he wants to do it or not? Because his job is to provide for you and the family. And I think that's really important. So, second, as far as financially, I'm not saying that this person needs to be a millionaire or to be an Andrew Tate or anything like that, but I do I didn't understand this when I was younger, but the 50-50 concept does not work. Now, I understand, yes, you can pay for dates, you can do a couple sweet little things, but it will never be 50-50. If you even break it down to individual days, it's never going to be 50-50, because someone is going to be taking care of the house more than the other. Someone is going to take care of dinner, someone is going to get the groceries, someone is going to do this, someone is going to do that. There will never be a 50-50. But when it comes down to it, so the three of you are lucky enough to have children, and I haven't had children yet. But when that day comes, I'm hoping that I'm not going to be forced to work until the day I give birth. I'm hoping that I'm going to have a husband that's going to say, no, my love, like, please stay home, take care of yourself. Right now, the most important thing is for you to take care of you, your health, and the health of this baby. And for me to feel safe to just prioritize the health of the baby. And if I'm forced to work, I can't do that, which is unfortunately what happens to a lot of women because of the system that we have today. So if a guy can't provide while I'm literally pregnant, trying to grow another human being, I'm not going to be in the right state of mind, the right health to actually take care of what needs to be taken care of. And once I have that baby, I'm again not going to be able to go to work right away. So it's not 50-50, because I'm
No.
putting my body through stress, I'm putting my
We've got
mind
different
through
bodies.
stress.
Yeah.
So
And
it's never going to be 50-50.
no.
And it's not that a guy has to pay for absolutely everything and a girl goes crazy. That's not what I'm saying
No.
either. But traditionally, and if you look in the Bible, the man is providing, the man is bringing in to take care of his family, and the wife takes care of him and takes care of the home. And I think that that's such a beautiful thing that
Yeah.
is destroyed today.
Absolutely. Amen. And I mean, I did it, sister. I worked all the way up to the, day I popped out kids, and I was back on it right afterwards. And I think that that's not the way to do it. If I could do it differently, I would. If I could have done it differently then, I would have. I didn't have a choice. I did the best I could with what I had. And then after you have a baby, you should rest for a year. You should recover. It takes a year for your body to recover, and your time with your baby is precious. And so again, what you said is beautiful. It's right on. And feminism is retarded, and I hate
Yes,
it.
it
And it's
is.
ruined our society. So again, go back to the word, go back to the Bible. And again, yeah, you should never have a woman that's trying to use you for your money and isn't providing for you as well. There was a meme I shared that got a lot of attention, and it was like, if there's a man laying in bed next to a woman, she shouldn't be suffering emotionally, spiritually, financially. But it goes both ways, in my opinion. If
Yep.
you're laying in bed with someone every single night, you're pouring into that person, and you're making sure that they feel solid and secure on all levels. So
Like, they
again,
need
there
to
should
be
be no
supported.
manipulation.
Yeah.
But women are different than men. Amen. We have babies. We have to be protected differently. We all have different roles in our society, for sure. Brooke, you want to say any final parting words? Because I'm going to sign us off here.
Yeah, so the crypto stuff, totally, I'm on Team Mandy for that. But I think this is great because I think we were talking about how diverse we can all be in our conversations, and this is really great. Like, some of us are very experienced in some areas and some of us aren't. When it comes to relationships, I agree with everything that Frankie was talking about. I agree with everything that you said, Andrea. We have to really take care of our bodies after we have our babies. I mean, I've had 2 boys. They're 8 years apart. There's one right there. He's like checking it out. Grant's going to be 14. I had to go back to work when he was 6 weeks. That was very hard. It was an unexpected pregnancy. And then Adam, we had tried for 2 years and got pregnant, and I got to have a lot more time with Adam. And there's something to be said in that bonding. There's something to be said if you are with a partner who can provide protection, who can provide you that ability to be with your child. I think Adam and I have bonded very differently than how me and my first son. It was like, no, we're 2 working partner household, right? Dating is rough. Lay it all out. My final thoughts are: lay it all out in the beginning. What are some big things? Because you don't want to get a year in, 5 years in, and be like, this is a deal breaker. And I agree with the barter system and with real estate. That's the way to make money. Apparently, I have to address this because I just do. I love that Onyx said Rodriguez for lawyer 2024. That's amazing.
Let's go.
But she said Brooke needs to be heard. She's hurting. Well, I've been through a very traumatic divorce and life, but I have my woman group and a bunch of other amazing things. So I would love to find a partner. I mean, if you're seeing that side of me, like, I would definitely love to find a counterpart, someone to share my life with. I think is a magical thing. I have 2 boys. I'd love to raise them, not always single, but if I find somebody, great. If I don't, I don't. That's where I leave it.
Listen, God always provides on God's timing. God's timing.
Amen.
All right. All right. So we go where God sends us. We will be back.
Wait, Mandy has to do final words.
No, she did.
She started final words.
She started final words.
Oh
We
my
will
God,
be
did I-
back.
I'm good.
We will be
It's
Second
my
final
birthday
words.
tomorrow. I'm 43.
Second final words.
Yeah, we will be back next week. Hopefully Thursdays, I think, is what we're going to hit. But thank you all for being with us. Thank you, Attorney Tom Renz, for letting us blast our craziness on his network, as well as Vim Miller at America Happens. Follow America Happens because Vim is doing some wild stuff. If you look at some videos right before this one, I'm sure you already follow America Happens if you're following this, but he just did some huge bombs and drops on some of his videos, and he's doing some amazing work. So we love you, Vim Miller. Go to tomrenz.com, go to americahappens.com. There's a closing video that I'm supposed to play, and I'm probably gonna mess it up, so I'm just gonna close this.
We've got to keep growing. So, like, on Vem Miller's account, we love them. America Happens on Tom Renz. Yes, on She Said Productions.
No,
follow us on Facebook and Instagram too.
Yeah,
and if there was anything that you enjoyed, if you laughed once, if there was something that you really felt you learned, or if there's something that at least one person could really benefit from hearing, like, please share the show, because we're not doing this because we want to be on camera. We're doing this because we're genuinely wanting to help other people, and that's why these conversations need to be had. So share the show.
most of us are on camera too much on other shows, to be honest.
I
And
know,
then if
it's
you
like-
want to reach out directly to us, you can email me at media@tomrens.com. I'm saying goodbye. Say bye, ladies.
Bye.